Bjorn Ironside is arguably the most famous son of Ragnar Lothbrok and also one of the most popular and beloved characters from the Viking TV series. And in fact, the death of Bjorn Ironside in the historical show was far more epic and glorious than how he passed away in real life, being one of the rare cases from the Vikings TV show where the fiction was better than the fact. But nonetheless, there are two medieval sources which make reference to how Bjorn Ironside may have died, and in this video we will analyze these medieval texts to better understand the cause of death for Bjorn Ironside, the great Viking warrior. But before we begin, don't forget, if you want to learn more about the death of some of history's greatest figures, then subscribe to my channel, Historical Exit. Bjorn Ironside was the son of the legendary Viking Ragnar Lothbrok, and after Ragnar's death at the hands of King Aella in 865 AD, Bjorn, alongside his brothers Ivar the Boneless, Hvitserk and Sigurd Snake in the Eye, would lead the formidable Great Heathen Army to the shores of England, seeking retribution for their father's demise. However, after their vengeance had been concluded, Bjorn would choose a separate and unique path for himself, and unlike his brothers, who continued their campaigns across England, Bjorn would set his sights on distant horizons. And over the decades, he would become renowned for his extensive raids throughout the Mediterranean, pillaging lands from the coast of France to Italy and even as far out as North Africa. Bjorn would finally return back to Scandinavia, ruling as the powerful king of Sweden, with his legacy cemented not just by his battlefield prowess, but by the economic stability and prosperity of his kingdom as well. And it is here, during his final years as the reigning monarch of Sweden, that two medieval texts, the Saga of Ragnar Lothbrok and the Tale of Ragnar's Sons, makes reference to how Bjorn Ironside passed away and how his great legacy would at last come to its inevitable end. However, before we delve further into these historical texts, it is important to highlight that Bjorn would have passed away at some point late in the 9th century or very early 10th century. But both the Saga of Ragnar Lothbrok and the Tale of Ragnar's Sons are historical texts which were produced in the 13th century, so approximately 350 years after the death of Bjorn. So although these two historical documents are not contemporary and the works contain a mix of both mythological and historical content, they can still provide a plausible understanding of how Bjorn Ironside, the King of Sweden, passed away. And in the Saga of Ragnar Lothbrok, it is suggested that Bjorn returned to Scandinavia after his raiding and ruled as a king until he passed away from natural causes at an elderly age, after ruling successfully for many years. The Saga of Ragnar Lothbrok states the following in regards to Bjorn's death. Bjorn ruled over Sweden and he became a great king. He lived to an old age and died peacefully. This passage clearly highlights the discourse that Bjorn Ironside, unlike some of his brothers, was definitely not killed in battle, but instead passed away from old age after a long and prosperous life. An important element to highlight here that further supports the discourse that Bjorn did indeed pass away from natural causes is the fact that it is well attested that the Saga of Ragnar Lothbrok often embellishes the lives of Viking figures, and if there was any possibility that Bjorn may have died while fighting bravely in battle and meeting a glorious death, the saga definitely would have highlighted this and perhaps even embellished his final moments. But as there seems to be no evidence or rumor even hinting at Bjorn dying in battle during the medieval time period, that means the discourse of Bjorn dying from natural causes, as suggested in the saga, seems highly plausible and reasonable in my opinion. The second saga which makes reference to the death of Bjorn Ironside is the Tale of Ragnar's Sons, which again provides a nearly identical discourse to the Saga of Ragnar Lothbrok as to how Bjorn passed away. The Tale of Ragnar's Sons states, Bjorn Ironside took the kingdom in Sweden, where he became a powerful king. He lived a long life and died in his bed, leaving a great legacy behind him. Again, this historical text strongly implies that Bjorn returned to Scandinavia after his raids and lived out the rest of his life in relative peace as the monarch of Sweden, and he would pass away at an elderly age after having lived a long and eventful life. Another fascinating archaeological discovery that further strengthens the theory that Bjorn may have died in Sweden is a large burial mound in Munso Island, and this location is associated as being the final resting spot of Bjorn Ironside. Although this hypothesis has never been definitively proven, as no artifacts or inscriptions bearing the Vikings' name have ever been found during archaeological excavations, but popular oral tradition and folklore still associate this medieval Viking mound with Bjorn Ironside, which further highlights Bjorn's importance to the populace of Sweden even to this day. So I really hope you found this video to be interesting, and if you did, please do like and share this video with others and leave a comment down below on which historical figure's death you would like for me to cover next. And as always, if you want to learn more about the death of some of history's greatest figures, then subscribe to my channel Historical Exit, and thank you so much for watching. Have a great day. Bye.